Here is a question I want you to answer honestly, and I mean really honestly. Not the answer you'd give in a board meeting, the real one. Do you know how many people in your organization are using AI right now? Today, in their daily work. Not in a pilot, not in a sanctioned program, just quietly, on their own, getting things done faster than the person sitting next to them who isn't. Because here's what the data says. Half of all employees, across every sector, every size of business, every industry, are now using AI at work. Half. That number has more than doubled in 3 years. 13% are using it every single day. And of the people using it regularly, 65% say it has materially improved their productivity. That is not a trend. That is a transformation. And it is happening inside your organization right now, with or without your involvement. I'm RFD. This is AI for the Boardroom. If you're new here, go to aifortheboardroom.com right now. Every episode, every resource, every framework on this show lives there, free, built for you. Go bookmark it and come back. Let's get into this. Here is the thing about that statistic that should make every leader in every boardroom stop and think. Half your team may already be using AI, which means the other half aren't. And that gap between the people in your organization who are using AI to work faster, produce more, think better, and the ones who aren't, that gap is a performance gap. It is showing up in your output right now. You just can't see it yet because nobody is measuring it. But your competitors might be able to see it in how quickly your proposals come back, in the quality of your analysis, in your response times, in the decisions you make, and how long they take to make them. This is not a technology story. This is a leadership story, and it is one of the most important ones happening in business right now. Let me give you the number that really landed for me when I looked at this research. Businesses where employees use AI extensively, where it is embedded in how people actually work every day, report high productivity at a rate of 72%. Businesses with limited AI use report high productivity at 55%. That is a 17 percentage point productivity gap between organizations that have made AI a genuine part of how their people work and those that haven't. 17 points in a competitive market where margins are tight and efficiency is everything. Now think about what that means if your competitor is on the right side of that gap and you're not. And here is the uncomfortable part. The research also shows that most of that gain is not coming from top-down AI programs. It is not coming from the board mandating a digital transformation initiative. It is coming from individual employees, your people, quietly figuring out how to use these tools on their own, in their own time, to get their work done better. Which raises the question every leader needs to sit with. If your people are finding their own way to AI, and the ones who are becoming measurably more productive as a result, what is your job in that process? Are you the leader who enabled it, encouraged it, built a culture where it was welcomed and shared and grown? Or are you the leader who didn't know it was happening? Because there is a version of this story where your best people are quietly getting better every week, and nobody is capturing that knowledge, scaling it across the organization, or building it into how your business actually operates. And there is another version where your people aren't using AI at all, where nobody has said it is encouraged, where nobody has shown them how, where the culture hasn't made space for it, and where week by week the gap between your team and teams in organizations that have embraced this is quietly growing. Both of those versions are a leadership problem, and both of them are yours to solve. Here's what I want you to do right now, not tomorrow. Right now, while this is in your head, think about your team, not the whole organization, just your immediate team, the people who report directly to you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you that they are actively using AI in their daily work? Not occasionally, not when it occurs to them, regularly, intentionally, as a genuine part of how they do their jobs. If that number is below 7, and for most leaders it will be, that is your problem to solve. Not IT's problem, not HR's problem, yours. Because the signal about whether AI is welcome, whether it is encouraged, whether it is expected, that signal comes from the top. And if you haven't sent it clearly, your team hasn't received it. Now here is where I want to challenge something. Because I think there is a version of this conversation that leaders have with themselves that goes, well, we need to make sure people are using it responsibly. We need guardrails. We need a policy before we start encouraging this at scale. And I understand that instinct. It is not wrong, but I want to push back on the order of operations. The research shows that 56% of the global workforce has received no recent training on AI. 56%. And organizations are genuinely surprised when their AI investment doesn't deliver results. You cannot hand someone a tool they don't understand and expect them to use it well. Your people are not resistant to AI. The data shows they are already using it. What they are lacking is confidence, structure, and permission. They need to know that the organization wants them to learn this, that making mistakes in the process is acceptable, that sharing what they figure out with colleagues, with managers, with the leadership team is encouraged. That culture has to be built deliberately. And it starts with one conversation, one signal from the top that says, we want this, we support this, we expect this. Here is the data point that I think every CEO needs to have in their head when they walk into their next leadership meeting. Industries that have genuinely embraced AI are seeing labor productivity grow 4.8 times faster than the global average, 4.8 times. In finance and software, the sectors furthest along, productivity growth ran at 27% between 2018 and 2024, compared to 7% in sectors that haven't moved as fast. That is not incremental advantage, that is structural advantage, the kind that takes years to close from behind. And here is the challenge. The businesses building that advantage right now are not doing it through massive technology programs. They are doing it through culture, through expectation, through leaders who said, this matters, start learning, bring me what you find. That is available to every organization, right now, today. It costs almost nothing. It requires no IT project, no vendor, no transformation program. It requires a leader who is willing to send the signal. So here is exactly what I want you to do before the end of this week. 2 things, genuinely simple, no technology required. The first, have one conversation with your leadership team, your direct reports, or even just one person you trust to carry a message. The message is this: we expect everyone in this team to be actively exploring how AI can improve how they work, not as a side project, as part of the job. Bring me what you learn. I want to hear it. That conversation, that one signal, changes the permission level in your organization overnight. The second, go to AI4theboardroom.com, because there is a practical framework there for exactly this: how to build the culture, how to structure the conversation with your team, how to start measuring what is happening. It is all there, free, built for leaders, not technologists. That is AI4theboardroom.com. Use it. Share it with your leadership team this week. Here is where I want to leave you. Half your team may already be using AI, the other half aren't. The gap between those two groups is a productivity gap that is showing up in your business right now. And the businesses where leadership has made this a cultural expectation, not a tech project, not a policy document, but a genuine expectation, those businesses are pulling 17 productivity points ahead of the ones that haven't. You do not need a strategy for this. You need a conversation. This week, one conversation. Send the signal. I'm RFD. This is AI for the boardroom. For everything you need to build an AI-ready culture in your organization, go to AI4theboardroom.com. It is all there. Free. Built for you. Hit follow on Spotify. Share this today with one leader in your network who needs to hear it. And I will see you in the next one.